We got all that water draining out of the system. This is not coolant. For those that are wondering, this is straight water that I am dumping onto the asphalt or the concrete. I already emptied the system out of coolant and I put water in it, and now I'm just kind of flushing all of that grime and stuff out of the cooling system. So that's why I'm doing this. I let it run for probably 5 minutes with a hose on the overflow and just kept letting it cycle. Had my heat box going, so just letting that drain. But in the meantime, I am gonna reuse my old coolant because this coolant is not that old. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of nasty stuff in there, so we're gonna clean this stuff out. It's gonna take a little bit, but it beats spending like $900 on coolant for this thing, so I'm balling on a budget. All right, we went ahead and dumped all that coolant back into here. As you can see, it's just below the cold fill line, so it just needs a little bit more, so I'll go get a gallon at some point. But now since we have that done, we can cross off some more stuff. So big one, thermostat housing, done. Heat, done. 4-wheel drive high, we still need to give that attention. This is just some stuff that I made up. I did tape that fuel connector. I still need to bolt my seats down permanently, torque them down, and then my exhaust is loose, so that's really the only other things we got to do to this truck. That's maintenance wise. I do need to adjust my headlights, so that is something I'll add. Problem with these headlights, they literally point straight down, so I'm gonna do some adjusting on these. Yeah, you can tell that this one's just angling straight down almost. Let me look at the difference. Maybe that'll help. So my window tint finally came in for the truck. I just got my truck back from getting the windshield replaced. Carefully take this out. That's the rear. I've been trying to let this stuff kind of straighten up since it's been wrapped up in a box for a couple days. Okay, there we go. Here we have front passenger side, 15%. Here's my new windshield, by the way. I don't know if you guys remember, but it had all that white stuff inside the glass on the side, but got a new one put in. And once I get all this stuff tinted, I'm gonna take it and get it I'm gonna get a strip put on it because I am not good at tinting bigger windows like that. So just leave it to a professional. But start with the little window. I just got some soapy water. I'm gonna clean off the glass because it's really dirty before I get really into this. Definitely not a professional at doing this. I just try to save some money. I've tinted a couple vehicles before, all mine. I never tint anybody else's stuff just because I'm not that good. But yeah, we'll get started on this. Just look how much dirt that one had. And we'll run over it with a razor blade just to make sure if there is anything that we get it. Okay, that is all done. Take my towel here and just kind of dry off any debris that got trapped. Make sure we get all that stuff off because we don't want debris under our tint because that'll look bad. You can see there's quite a bit of stuff there. Not too bad. So, okay, now we are ready to put the tint on. I'm gonna start with the little window because it's obviously a lot smaller, a lot easier, and it'll just kind of get me back into the feel of tinting again. So, because it's been a little bit since I've done it. So we're gonna spray it down, make sure we get some soap on that. And the whole goal is to keep it wet. I buy my tint pre-cut because I'm terrible at cutting it. So that makes my life a lot easier. I don't have to put it on the outside and shape it around and do that. I just literally spray it really heavily. Don't be afraid. And then I just peel it off. The whole goal is to be able to move it around just like that. If you it gets dry, then it gets really hard to push. As you get it, always wet both sides of the tint so you don't tear it with your squeegee. I'm using a Bondo filler because I can't find my squeegee, but we're just gonna start up here at the top, make sure we move it to where we want it, and we're just gonna kind of squeegee the water out, just like so. That one turned out pretty good. Go ahead and wipe it down one more time, and then I'm going to heat the whole entire window so we can get that tint stick. Okay, that window is done. So we can go ahead and shut this. Bam. There we go. Not too shabby. 15% tint. We wiped it down again, got any more debris off. Now we're ready to put the big tint on, but first we're gonna spray this down really heavily. And we're gonna start peeling that off and spray it down really heavily. So. And as for this side, on the driver's side, it's the same exact procedure. I just went ahead and edited all that stuff out since I've already showed you guys. Just clean the window as good as you can. Make sure there's no debris in it. Make sure there's no hair. Take your time with it. Like I said, I'm not a professional at tinting vehicles. I just do this mainly for fun and because I don't want to pay $300 to have my local tint guy do my truck when I can just do it myself. Is it perfect? No, but it works great and it looked pretty good after the fact. I let it dry for a couple days. I didn't record any of that, but I will be sure to add a couple pictures in or later video showing the tint and how it all turned out. Yeah, as we're wrapping up this tint, we are going to jump into fixing my downpipe because the exhaust bolts are broke on my factory one, and I am just not a fan of the flat downpipe. So we have a Diamond Eye 3-inch coming in, and we're gonna go ahead and get that guy installed. This downpipe is a 2-piece, so it makes it a lot easier to put in. So this piece will just slide right into there, and that'll be it. So, and then they give me new exhaust bolts for my old exhaust. And you got a hanger or a clamp that goes there. We're gonna grab some safety glasses, and we're gonna crawl underneath this thing, and we're gonna start sawzalling it apart. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut all these bands off of the heat shield around this. So that way your blade doesn't get ate up. And then you're just gonna cut up against here onto the housing so you can get it out. There's part of it. Okay, now we've got that pretty well cut. We'll be able to pull that right off. So now we can go ahead and put the new one on. All right, guys, just showing you progress. When it got the downpipe on, in order to get this downpipe on, you have to cut or beat with a hammer. There's like a little bitty of a lip for the floor pan. If you just bend that tab over towards the firewall, then you're able to slide this 3-inch downpipe all the way up in here. and it went in really easy after that. I know I hear a lot of horror stories on how terrible the downpipes are on these 7.3s, and I mean, this is the first one I've done on an OBS, and it really wasn't that bad. Like I said, you just got to make a cut there. This is just heat shield, so don't be scared on that, and there's stuff underneath it to protect the heat from the cab. But there's just tabs just sit right there. You just make a little cut, and then bend it back, and this downpipe will just slide right up in there. Luckily, this was a 2-piece downpipe, so that's probably what made it really easy. I was able to put the part on for the turbo, and then I just slid this piece up over here until I was able to get it onto this. And then I just put my bolts in, tightened it up, and clamped it, and done. Nothing's touching, so I'm gonna go for a quick little test drive, but I'm excited to hear how this sounds. I don't think it's gonna sound much different, but it's gotta be a lot better than this. I mean, what is this? I mean, that's terrible. That's trash. That is restricting so much airflow. So hopefully this old girl's breathing a lot better now.